r/interestingas frick. Stay Sorlakiel Week says. An 80-foot coal seam at the world's largest coal mine. Included photo. Aptotic Fox says. Sequestered carbon. Ninja4Geek says. Soon not to be, unfortunately. Subsupan says. I know coal is bad, but man it burns well. I have one of my best memories of a small hut in the firelands of NZ. It was an endless intense spring rain. We were so cold. Place had a cast iron cooking stove. The owner said coal's in the shed, use as much as you want. I filled a large grain bag with it. Never been so cozy. We were dry and warm with nothing but the sound of the rain outside. Stay Sorlakiel Week says. This particular mine produces some of the cleanest burning coal out there to edit. Do I seriously have to include a coal bad disclaimer to not gather down votes in a discussion about a coal stove? Total Philosopher 89 says. North Antelope Rachel Mine in Powder River Basin in Wyoming is the world's largest coal mine and accounts for 12% of the US's entire coal production. It is a vast surface mine, and the coal pulled out of the ground has some of the lowest sulfur content in the US. The abundance and quality of the coal means 8 of the 10 largest mines in the United States are located in this one river basin. r/interestingas frick. JC 201,946 says. Very interesting fact John Tyler. Included photo. Bobo 4037 says. While absolutely mind-boggling, this is not completely true anymore. One of the grandsons, Lynn Gardner Tyler Jr., died in September 2020 at age 95. Harrison Ruffin Tyler is still alive at age 95. Still an amazing fact. Mookie Thermot says. And he's trying to make a baby, right? Taeyang 2013 says. Traditions are traditions. Matt Highlander 1 says. The last known woman eligible to claim a Civil War widow's pension died in 2020, 155 years after the war ended. She married her husband in 1936 when she was 17 and he was 93. Standard Cable 9733 says. Frick her for not remarrying a teenager and keeping the Civil War pension going. Pants McG says. It would have ended with her death anyways. Captain Offbizer says. Meanwhile, I knew a guy who had a kid at 14 that had a kid at 15, so he was a 29-year-old grandpa. He told me once that he was going to meet his great-great-great-grandson someday if it kept up. r/interestingas frick. Imptispiciphora says. Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus Rex vs its real-life proportions. Based on Sue. Included photo. Flash in a Pan says. PSH, movies setting and realistic beauty standards yet again. Notorious 1212 says. Wow, so it's like a 9+ ton potato with teeth and a tail. Omnomthadooman just says. There is a video allegedly showing the actual sound of a T-Rex. It is a lot creepier than the movies. ST0WND says. Not T-Rex but Parasaurolophus. We have no clue how T-Rex sounded, since we never found any sound producing bones or fossilized organs. Firth and Crow says. You got a link for that? Kim Thielen 101 says. Must have been the added frog DNA. Unicorn Sensory says. Who is Sue, and what makes you think she knows more than the average 10-year-old obsessed with dinosaurs? Switibakba says. The real one looks like a toy. Claudia Shum says. Thick. r/interestingas frick. 11-3 says. Safety standard on a 1960s ski lift. Included photo. Disaster Myth says. Many chairlifts across the country are still exactly like this. Brief Jellyfish 485 says. I have been on many like this. 89,141 says. I was on one today. But what Johnston says. Guys, this is just a ski lift. Eran 165 says. I don't think they are going skiing. Davos Groovy Wav says. This pic makes the rounds every once in a while. The perspective makes it look higher than it is. But also this is just how ski lifts work. I suppose if you've never been on one it would seem strange, but yeah, unless you actively try to fall you're pretty much just sitting there. Not all that unsafe. MTB Mike says. Yeah, and loads of ski lifts, at least out west, still have no safety bars. It's not a big deal. My 9-year-old skis weekly at a resort where 2 of the chairs we ride have no safety bar. r/interestingas frick. JC 201,946 says. That's interesting about squirrels. Included photo. Blan9 says. That has to be absolutely infuriating for the squirrels. Zero Ranger Polybus says. So what's interesting is their brain actually grows to retain memory of where they store the nuts, but they hide so many for the winter they just can't remember all of them. There are also squirrels that watch other squirrels hide nuts and then immediately steals the nuts once the squirrel leaves. So 25-40% of the nuts they hide end up stolen, or they forgot where they hid them. American Figaro says. Okay, but how do we know they forget? Maybe they leave some on purpose to grow more trees? How would we know? Beres says. There are no oaks in my yard. Oaks come up in the flower beds, hanging baskets and window box planters all the time. I'm certainly not planting them. Not a preppy says. Somebody in my neighborhood feeds the squirrels peanuts. They buried a bunch in the snow my flower beds and now my dogs eat the nuts after the snow melts. r/interestingas frick. Top Passage 1066 says. Nancy Pelosi, age 20, attending JFK's inauguration in 1961. Included photo. Durden Zelig says. JFK definitely hit that. The missing Lego piece says. Anything to get in the inner circle. Batboy69 says. He definitely got into her inner circle. Meritus says. It's all one big club and you ain't in it. HotEdge4916 says. My man George. Cabosmith says. DC is a nursing home. We have no idea who's getting the weekend at Bernie's treatment. Eskimo Frickin says. Who would have thought that she'd become one of the most prolific insider traders? Dashound says. Who would have thought that no term limits would have led to rampant insider trading throughout Congress and both parties? Jerry Ishbelev says. It's all one party. We are just tricked to believe otherwise. Pupikat Partahat says. Career politician. Or lifelong power. How are our leaders actually relatable to us peons? r/interestingas frick. David Hayter says. The Canadian Naval Diving Academy celebrates graduation by taking their class picture underwater. Included photo. Unijack Thedor says. Half of these guys look like cardboard cutouts. Not to mention dude sitting on the front left is feeling those breakfast burritos about to evacuate his insides. Sort difficult says. Brother man flashing his gorgeous whites. Before the Pookieba says. That's hardly a sneaky fart you're getting away with. Tongue 8 Cheeks says. Aka Summer Ice Hockey Team. Elmer Jomo says. Take the dang photo, Gerald. Spartan 2470 says. The source of this image is the Canadian Armed Forces FB page. Per there, October 26, 2023, this may be the most epic graduation photo ever, taking a moment to rewind to Royal Canadian Navy members celebrating the end of an incredible journey after successfully completing their clearance divers training course. This nearly year-long course is a thrilling roller coaster of physical and mental challenges that test participants' limits, ensuring that these members acquire the skills and knowledge needed to adapt to new challenges in safeguarding our waters. Photo, Millisecond Valley Relekla. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.